So Tulsi Gabbard went on The View this week, and she seems completely fed up with the over-the-top smears against her. So she's going to address it. It gets a little bit awkward in the room there, but I think she does a fantastic job. Take a look.
Recently on your show here.
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out.
You want me to ask you the question?
No, look, some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that.
I want to let your viewers know exactly who I am.
All right.
Set the record straight. I am a patriot. I love our country. I am a strong and intelligent woman of color, and I have dedicated almost my entire adult life to protecting the safety, security, and the freedom of all Americans in this country. It was the attacks on 9/11.
We're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why
you're on Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
Well, Hillary Clinton started it, and then you shot back at her, boy. You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier. Because of the attacks on 9/11, I enlisted in the military to go after and defeat and destroy the evil that visited us on that day. I've served now for over 16 years, deployed twice to the Middle East during the height of the war, where every single day I saw firsthand the terribly high human cost. It's why I ran for Congress.
We actually have the clip of Hillary Clinton, just to put this in context of what we're talking about. Let's take a look at that.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of, sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
So really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. I've served as a member of Congress now for almost 7 years, receiving high-level national security and intelligence briefings, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, working to ensure the safety and security of the people of this country. This is why I'm running for president, to continue that commitment of service.
So are you surprised, though, that when people see bots and things and all the things that we've sort of been seeing heading your way, that people have these questions? Because she's not the only one. Hillary, I don't think, is the only one. So what she's saying is she feels they are grooming you. You're saying nobody's grooming me. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm a soldier and a patriot.
It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in such a way.
But you called her the personification of rock.
So demeaned
She's a woman
in such a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police around the world, that has waged wars costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. I'm speaking out against that, and
What's your evidence to that?
To change.
Well, can I?
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
I served in the war in Iraq.
Not you, her. You're saying that she's
exactly.
She's a warmonger.
How do you war in Iraq that she championed. She championed a regime change war in Libya.
Did you not believe in that war?
I believe the lies that were told to us.
Well, so did she.
Look, it is indisputable. It is indisputable to say anything other than the fact that Hillary. Let me just close this out. That Hillary Clinton, throughout her career, has led with a foreign policy of interventionism and being the world's police, going and toppling dictators in other countries that has caused such destruction and loss of life. I'm against that. I'm running for president to change that. Rather than actually debate me on the issues, she and others are resorting to these smear tactic campaigns, seeking to undermine me, smear my character, and sending a message to anyone who dissents. Stand toe the line, or you too will be smeared.
Man, I just feel bad for Tulsi at this point, because it's like, when they want to come after you, they come after you. And the oldest trick in the book is just find an angle and just keep hammering away on it over and over and over and over and over. So they don't have stuff to go after her, like she says there, that's really policy related, where they come out looking better than she does. So it's just, okay, the thing we're going to hang our hat on is Russian puppet being groomed to run third party, even though she said repeatedly she's not going to run third party. And just use that angle and just go, 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 go. And get your minions in the media to do your bidding and to parrot that same line. Obviously, no need for evidence, or take however flimsy your evidence is, use that and act like it's conclusive, and just don't stop. And so it's the, Assad puppet, you love brutal dictators line, and it's the, oh my God, Russian asset line. And it's just that over and over and over and over and over. And listen, I hate to say it, but this is one of the reasons why I was warning from early on against the whole Russiagate angle, is not only that I knew it wasn't really true and that they were making it out to be a bigger thing than it was. This idea that Vladimir Putin is like secretly controlling Donald Trump, that's ridiculous. But beyond that, I knew this will immediately be flipped back on the left. And they're doing it to Tulsi. If you think they're not going to do it to Bernie Sanders, you're crazy. They've already done it to Bernie Sanders in some respects, but they'll crank that up even more when it becomes clear that he's going to be one of the last candidates standing, and we got a real race and Bernie's one of the last ones standing. They will crank that into overdrive, and they're going to go after him in the exact same way. So I just feel bad at this point, because what you have is this giant multi-billion-dollar media apparatus and Democratic establishment apparatus, and they just all say the same thing, and they just go. And if you'll notice something, they go way harder against Democrats who step out of line than even going after Republicans. They're tougher on Democrats who step out of line than they are on Republicans. I mean, that's what I see for sure. And it's a shame, because people, they're acting like this is a serious issue, and then they even, like Tulsi here, they still have to debate it. It's not even like she could just go out there and say, this is dumb, here's why. It's that, Whoopi's like, well, some people are concerned it's not just Hillary Clinton, so what do you say to these some people who are concerned about? It's like, oh my God. And this is what stops a lot of good people from getting involved in politics in the first place. I don't want to run for office. I see what they do to somebody like Tulsi. I see what they do to Bernie. I want nothing to do with that. I mean, they come after you in the most vicious ways. And unfortunately, for so many good people, they want to shy away from that because they don't want their character, put through the ringer like that. And it's just simply not fair. And so let's go through some of the arguments here. The first one, I wanted to rip my hair out immediately upon listening to this clip, because Joy Behar, who usually is not terrible, but in this instance, she's just, oh my God, so grotesque. She says, oh, Franklin Graham thinks you're refreshing. Richard Spencer likes you, and you're on Tucker Carlson all the time. Okay, so for Franklin Graham liking her, there are right-wingers who like my show, and because they might agree with my take, for example, on being against war. There could be some paleo-conservatives who watch the show. Oh, I like Kyle's take on war. I don't hate Kyle. Now, they might have a view on race which is abhorrent. They might be racist and admit they're racist. Does that mean that if they say, I like Kyle because of his foreign policy take, that now all of a sudden it's fair to say, well, I guess he's racist too, right? Because that guy likes you. But no, my position on race is totally different from their position on race. But it doesn't have to make sense. You just throw it out there, and just all you have to do is say those two names in the same sentence. Oh, Franklin Graham and Tulsi Gabbard. Ooh, she must do something wrong because he says she's okay. It used to be considered a good thing to get people who don't usually agree with you to agree with you, especially if it's on your terms. If it's on your terms, and if it's you not compromising your values and getting people to agree with you, they used to be considered a very good thing. Oh, Richard Spencer says he could vote for you. Richard Spencer says he could vote for you. Again, just because, And Tulsi Gabbard, for the record, has fired back at Richard Spencer, fired back at David Duke. David Duke once said a positive word about Tulsi on Twitter, and her response was like, I hate you and everything you stand for, and my father was, whatever, the victim of some version of segregation, and like, so I disagree with everything you stand for, go away. And so, but they're still going to use that to go after her. They still use that to go after her. Why? The whole point is to smear. The whole point is to link you with bad people, and the implication is, well, you must be a bad person, because if they like you, that must mean that what? Tulsi's like secretly in favor of segregation or something. It's just not a fair criticism. Guys, there are fair criticisms of Tulsi. I voiced them on this show. I do not agree at all with her healthcare plan, the Medicare choice, as she said. You could keep your employer insurance. Hate that stuff. Hate it. But that's a legit policy criticism. The criticism she's getting from these clowns are all smear attacks and character criticisms where they're trying to link her to proven racists, to insane evangelicals. Oh, if they like her, then there must be something wrong with her, right? It's got to be that she secretly agrees with them on everything. The Tucker Carlson point. She's gone on CNN. She's gone on MSNBC. Yes, she goes on Tucker Carlson, but she's made a point. I'm going to try to reach out to everybody in the country. Now, you still want to go after her on that? Fine, but be specific about it. It's just they're flinging mud and hoping something sticks. And all they have is, I don't know, there's some bad people who like you, so I guess by extension, you must be a bad person. And then I wish she does a great job, because she's being basically like dogpiled by so many people there, but I wish she would sharpen her message a little bit and just be like, listen, Hillary Clinton hates me because I stepped down from the DNC to endorse Bernie Sanders against her in 2016, and she also hates me because I'm not in favor of war in Syria. That's it. Keep repeating that as much as they keep repeating, you're a Russian asset or whatever. I like that she does the whole, are you kidding me? I've actually served this country. I'm a major in the military right now and all that stuff. But I just wish she would be more clear as to why it is that Hillary Clinton hates her, because I don't want anybody walking away thinking that the reason Hillary Clinton hates her is because Hillary actually thinks that maybe she's a Russian asset or something. No. She actually is she knows that she's not a Russian asset. She's just going after her because she hates Tulsi for endorsing Bernie, and she hates Tulsi for being against war in Syria. Because in Hillary's mind, if you're against war in Syria, well, that means you're doing Putin's bidding, because Putin is, allied with the Assad government, and unless you want to topple the Assad government, you're helping Vladimir Putin. And then the fact that they felt the need to disagree with her, even on the indisputable stuff she was saying. So when she says, Hillary's the queen of warmongers and personification of corruption, and one of them is like, what's your evidence for that? What's your evidence on the warmonger point? And she's like, are you serious? Evidence on the warmonger point is she pushed for the war in Iraq relentlessly. And Joy goes, I guess she believed the lies too. Listen, man, there was even a middle ground on Iraq that Hillary Clinton refused to take. The middle ground was wait for there to be evidence and wait for the UN to approve the war. And if the UN approves the war, then you give George W. Bush the green light to do the war. She didn't take that middle ground. That was an actual bill that was proposed. Hey, we're not for war, we're not against war. We're just saying there needs to be evidence of the claims, and if the UN approves it, then Bush can do it. And the UN never approved it. So that would have prevented the war if Hillary was in favor of that bill, and if they passed that bill. She didn't take that middle position. She took the position of give him the ability to go to war. She voted for the war. She was for the war. So, to say, what do you mean she's the queen of warmongers? What about Libya, orchestrating the intervention in Libya? We came, we saw, he died, or whatever. She's been for every intervention in public life. She wasn't even in favor of Obama's, negotiations with Iran originally. Now, after he won and he got a great deal, then she flipped and was like, oh, yeah, it's a good deal. To her credit, that's good that she did that. But she originally wasn't even in favor of talking to Iran. She made that a campaign issue in 2008 when Obama said, I'll talk to Iran without preconditions. She attacked him for that. She is the queen of warmongers, without a doubt. And the idea, oh, what about the corruption angle? Jesus Christ. Literally, her and Bill have taken over $3 billion since in their respective careers. I mean, what Tulsi's saying here is indisputable. So it's so sad that the previous generation of Democratic leaders, the tricks that they resort to in order to go after the next generation of Democratic leaders, as Hillary's on the way out. It's, let me take every candidate who's for real change in one way or another and smear them and go after their character and say, you cannot trust these people. It's disgusting. The damage that Hillary Clinton has done to the Democratic Party, the damage that neoliberal, centrist, corporatist ideology has done, it's immeasurable. It's immeasurable. And then when anybody tries to get involved and change it, the claws come out in the most vicious ways. So I really do feel bad for Tulsi with this stuff. The good news is, post the Hillary Clinton feud, she went up in the polls. She was at about 1%, and some polls had her as high as 4% after that Hillary Clinton feud. So it just sucks, man. It just sucks. Like, I wish that we had a media that was serious enough to actually have the policy conversation with Tulsi and say, because there are areas I disagree with her, flat out. So why not have those conversations? Because they don't care about the policy stuff. All they have is their little, buzzwords and smear tactics and nonsense, and that's readily apparent.